You want to know why babies are so cute? It's because they're not strong enough to be dangerous yet. They're all so cuddly, and their mothers hold them, and oh, it is so cute. I just want to eat you up. Yeah, you just go ahead and try it, bitch. They don't even have the thought process to think that. They just feel it. But they're weak and flabby, and oh, what would happen if you had one that was an adult? I did. When I worked with the disabled, the mentally handicapped, the disabled for different reasons, you know, disabilities, people with disabilities, they could work and do things, and they made money, and they always said, isn't it rewarding? I'm like, fuck no, but I'm not working for a reward. I'm only getting $8.25 an hour here, 6 hours a day, you know. I was having a hard time paying for beer. It was a time of sobriety for me. Relative. Scheduling. Tabs. But there was the one guy that was there. And he, Ma! Yeah. As a baby, I read his files. At 6 months of age, he caught a high fever that lasted for 4 months. 4 months of fucking frying brain. That heat kills brain cells. That's the biggest problem with that. And so here you've got a 6'2" fucking Abraham Lincoln fucking looking motherfucker, acromegaly, big knuckles, and he's he's laughing the whole time, and it's like he's got the brain of a baby, and he goes, Ma! And he comes at you, and you're like, back off. And you go and take these people into town, like, you know, when I was a little kid, I'd see the people with people in helmets and a couple of other people just taking them through Glenn's Market and family centers. And I was always like, oh, it was always an interesting little parade. I got to be the guy walking those people around. Hey, look over there. As you see him about to reach for somebody's little boy, and you go, hey, look at that. And he's like, he looks over there, and the father walking by with the little boy looks at me and says, like, thanks, you know, I was good at redirect. But yeah, we'd be going to the store to do these things, walk around, go to Call of the Wild, and he reached around and he had me, he was strangling me with his fucking arm, and had me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not even gonna say his name. Oh, Junior! Tear his arm away from me. It's just common, you know. You've got a fucking 6'2" fucking Abe Lincoln strong fucking baby running around. Yeah. Oh, that's scary. You want to know what's scarier? Watching that poor guy exist in his realm, in this fucking farce, this fucking grotesque fucking thing that is going on right now. Not grotesque like it's wrong that it's just grotesque that we even have to go through this shit. You look at him and you think, oh, 3-year-olds, they're cute. They have their little tantrums and then they fucking fall asleep. Oh, it's so sweet. That's just like me when I was a baby, which means they're going to be just like you when they grow up. But imagine the kid doesn't grow up anymore in his brain, and he's a fucking close to 80-year-old fat man walking around going, Babies are cute because they're not strong enough to be dangerous. a 3-year-old can burn down the fucking house.
Never bite a verbal.
Let's not forget, he could still communicate. He could go, ma, bathroom. Okay, go to the toilet, man. And he could point you out, too. This is what I was like. This is where I learned later on, never bite a nonverbal, because he's a nonverbal, and he couldn't really communicate what he was trying to get across. It was like one day the buses would come, they have him sitting in the room. He was not, let me get this straight. I had said that people, they were functional, some of them were doing better than me the way I saw it. I'm like, that's fantastic, man. Guy's got an IQ of 53. I read his file. This is not Junior, this is another guy. But he's there, and he was getting laid, and he had an apartment. I'm just like, fucking guy's doing better than me. And so there are people there that can do good work. They just need a little bit of direction. But then there were also some people that, a small percentage that would come because a day program that they could just go to, they couldn't do any work. They were too far gone to do any work, or too far ahead maybe even, like Junior there. He probably knew exactly how to fucking get away with everything. And his caregiver, the person he lived in the adult foster care house with, she would give him a 6-pack of beer every day. He'd pull trees out of the ground in the backyard. I don't know what, he'd drink his beer and it's just like me when I was a kid, except I didn't have beer. Everybody loves pulling trees out of the ground, but you get someone like him with that kind of strength, and you can get a lot of shit cleared out with just a 6-pack a day. Usually what gets me going anyway. But so one of the things they'd say, if he's getting out of control, these women that worked there with him for a while, he liked attacking me. He liked that he had a guy that he could attack, that he could fucking wrestle like a grizzly bear. And they could say, sit on your hands. Sit on your hands. And he's, yeah. You know, I tried doing exercise walking around the room with him the one time, and the way he attacked me, the woman that was there, because I was new, he's slapping me in the back of the head and fucking grabbing me, and I'm doing the hoo, you know. He's attacking me. Nobody had ever tried to let him do exercise before. This baby that grew up to be a man. But they laughed. It was the funniest thing to them, because I can take a beating, and that's what he learned. You know, it was good for him to have me around. The women he had to listen to, because he knew he'd get in real trouble if he hurt a woman. But, you know, I'm not telling anybody. I'm perfect. And one time, the buses, and then the bus showed up, his bus showed up out front, and you'd help people get on the bus, like the one guy, Paul, I was getting him on the bus. He was a Vietnam vet, Native American. He didn't take it well. That was his thing. He smoked with, he's a fine guy. And he said, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, Judas. And I said, maybe not. And he turns around on the bus, little stand, he says, are you quitting? And I said, no. I said, I could die in my sleep. I could get hit up by a bus on the way home. I don't know. I might not be here tomorrow. Who knows what happens? And the next morning, he laughed. Next morning, my dad always says that. I just want you to know that he didn't take it to be insulting. And next morning, I come in, everybody's fucking crying in the place. I'm like, what the hell is going on? They said, Paul died of a heart attack last night. And I said, see? Maybe you won't see me tomorrow. It's just, you be careful what you joke about, lest you and everybody around you becomes it. So there's Junior, you get him sitting on his hands. I never could. But so his bus is here, and I go back to get him. He's in that room where they have all the games and everything for the people and the puzzles and such. And the blackjack. He's in there waiting for his ride. He sits in there alone because he's too rambunctious. And I come in, I said, your ride is here. And he came out, Ma! And he attacked me. And he just really went at me. And I'm like, this is no time for this. And I can't even remember how to do it. I couldn't tell you how to do it. I'd known the thing for so long, but never used it on anybody. You see it in the movies, and I knew how to do it, but I'd never. And when this time came that he looked like he was really gonna get me, I fucking did that thing, grabbed him by the fucking hand, and he went straight down into the ground like a fucking bag of bricks. And he was like, Ma! Sit down. I was protecting myself. And he's nonverbal. He got down to behind the table, and I said, sit on your hands. And he's like, And I went over and I shut the light off, and I just stood in the middle of the dark room with him. He knows exactly what's going on. Can't turn your back on the guy now. And Nurse Ratched comes in and turns on the light, and he's sitting there, and he goes, Ma! Ma! And points at me. I'm standing there, I'm like, and he's, Ma! Ma! That's no sign I've ever seen him do before. And I looked at her like, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. And she goes, come on, Jane. But you realize, not only was I protecting myself, and I used the minimum force necessary, I was not abusing him by standing in the dark with him. I was keeping him safe for the community and himself. And I think he came to understand that. But sometimes the baby that has grown into a man, same as the 3-year-old that has grown into a man, they need to be put in check.